Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your magical moon message. It's your boy Pikachu, your favorite wild level 32 Pikachu out here in Vegas. Um, Gotta stay wild. Moon in Capricorn, Sun in Leo. This is the last stage before the full moon. So let's recap. Oops. Let's recap the significance of this first quarter square period coming into, of course, the full moon. And if the audio kind of cut in and out when I switched, basically, once again, let's recap the significance of this first quarter square to full moon. So we activated energy. All right. And on that notion, this is strengthening the courage to express a higher, more confident, courageous, passionate sense of yourself. Because in this revolution of the individual, a lot of old world mechanics, as far like, if you notice, a lot of the social discourse is bringing into play a lot of old world mechanics about hierarchies, about social norms, about social levels. You see a bunch of people, especially of the older generation, almost sad or mad that they can't revive these relics of the past. They're it's so hilarious watching these people because they keep asking the same dumb question. How come things aren't like they used to be in the past? Men used to be like this. Women used to be like this. Why isn't it like that? And it's like, bitch, it's 2022. That's why. Wake the fuck up. We're in the future. All right, we're in the present. So just keep that in mind. Like, people gain all sorts of traction preaching to these choirs, but you don't necessarily see any solution focused talk, mainly because these people don't know what they're talking about. They're just preaching to a choir. So the most important thing about this is you as an individual contribute to this revolution, especially people born Pluto Scorpio, but really after 95, Pluto Sag, into creating new themes of this new world. The midway point through that is the literal apocalypse, Armageddon, new heaven, new earth. And the coolest thing about transits like this is that it integrates into your focus how these abstract myths from mythos and also metaphysical mythologies actually take place down here, as above so below. And you are the medium through which you can bridge the inner and outer world. So given this activation of energy strengthening your courage to be yourself, the first quarter square, where we had the new moon in Leo, Virgo, and Libra, kick us into the second phase of Scorpio, Sag, and Capricorn. Scorpio intensified the depth of pure energy that strengthened the solar energy you have harnessed. Okay, this is an energy harnessing transit. All fixed sign transits, we were harnessing natural energy in Taurus, which created the base and foundation for us to express this spiritually through our hearts and courageously. Okay, the difference between solar energy and natural energy is physical, solar energy is spiritual. When you think about the courage you need to approach something that you have fear of, that requires spiritual strength. It's intangible. You can't touch it like natural energy. It's something that you express courageously. So we went from, in this integration facet, the full moon, the pure Scorpio moon square, to the full expression of Sagittarius. We've now gained greater understanding and insight to the full expression of this ascended understanding, moon and Sag. And now we're taking that perspective and we're moving into the direction with moon in Capricorn, my hair growing out, in order for you to integrate the sixth house of any sign or planet is integration. Energy through moon in Capricorn, physical power. Okay, this is you physically harnessing this energy so that through the actions and understanding of this integrity and understanding of all the power needed to integrate this will complete full moon Aquarius, and you will now have full-on moon Saturn Aquarius knowledge of this solar energy you've harnessed, and actually get ready to transform out of this utilization in order to not only effectively harness this, but manifest the practical results during Virgo season. So we're getting ready during this period to see an even deeper, more practical, physical, tangible, evidence-based expression of legitimate superpowers, supernatural abilities. For some of you, this could be waking up early without the need of an alarm. You want to look at the small things. Doesn't mean that you'll start levitating, but maybe you might run your 100-meter a second faster. You might have kicked addictions and shed certain, emotional issues that you no longer really have moving forward from that opposition of the Sun and Pluto. Remember, this is part of the final boss battle series. Saturn's going to go into Pisces. Pluto's going to go into Aquarius. So for those of you who are kicked in, like, you'll know if you're a part of this process because you're getting psychically attacked off the wazoo, and your relationship with psychic attack hopefully is coming out of a victim minded set where you're just a victim of these attacks and more of like a warrior picking up your armor and sword and just fighting a good fight, because it's never personal. This is really just because you've decided to step into your power, to turn on your light and made you a target to attract darkness, and so you're just defending and maintaining that space. So the turning point, the continued turning point that comes through in this integration arc highlights the incredible power of Capricorn. Okay, now if we go back to this whole sixth house Virgo integration, you set everything up the first 5 houses. Okay, you have your identity at the first house, your values at the second house, and quick interruption, you're going to be more clear than ever. The bitterness and anger at influences and forces that really can't manipulate you. Like, this is literally coming into the full moon, the last chance anyone has really to manipulate you and to change your behavior around how confident you feel about yourself. Because once that full moon hits, boom, like the Saturnian anchor in Aquarius fleshes all this integration into a whole new cycle and level of exploration. So whereas there may be projections at you in order to undermine your confidence in yourself, it doesn't work. And it's going to make those same projectors bitter because they're realizing that outside of the fake reality they live, the realness of you can't be threatened, and they can project insults all they want. It comes from a fake place because these are bitter bitches. Okay, period. And you're gonna tap more into that confidence and joy, knowing that these forces that set themselves up to be important, they're not they're not important at all. They don't have any influence over you. Okay, and this is going to help you see more through the psychological games that are played. On the flip side, it also works positively too for people who do see you, for people who do encourage you. And you're awakening more to the fact that your courage and your strength in yourself is a huge threat to anyone who lives in falsity and lies. And that's not even necessarily vague. Just think about that. Think about people who you deal with who live a lie, who don't necessarily live in integrity to the authenticity of their heart. That's what this moon in Capricorn is integrating. You have the sun in Leo that is beaming out this courage, and the moon in Capricorn is a life of integrity aligned with the right actions to take that brings practically the lifestyle of this courageous heart into play. Think of the fact that many people can ridicule what I say because it's about the stars. But factually speaking, if you ask them what the planets mean, if you ask them what trines mean or sextiles mean, they don't know anything. And this is how people snitch on themselves out of pride, out of ego, where we're in a society that champions being ignorant about shit you probably should know. But when you ask them how it's not true, they cannot tell you anything outside of what they heard somebody else as will either say. There's real idiots walking amongst us. So keep this in mind. This doesn't have to apply to astrology. You could be a dentist and dealing with other people who don't agree with your innovative methods towards dentistry. But regardless, you want to really move forward more accepting and aware of how you've improved on what got you here, because the projections made at you are made out of fear. You're awakening to the fact that many people are terrified of you. It's easy to say an offhanded comment disrespectfully to someone. It's a lot harder to confront someone for real. Most people are terrified of doing that to you. So it's easy to do all this petty stuff because they're weak. There's no one who's not a weak bitch who would not confront you heart to heart. All these people who do all this weird, petty stuff is because they're weak bitches. Like, they put on so much bravado to give you an image because inside they're weak. Like, people who are strong inside don't have to do all that. They don't have people who are powerful inside don't have to do all that. And that's why you attract all this bitterness, envy, and hatred. It's a real war out here, y'all. It's a frequency war. Thank you. So, these dark forces are just going to be like, oh, they're that. But it's like, they'll never say it to your face, though. They'll never say it to your face, though. Because the strength, the lion in you, terrifies these people. And you're going to produce real physical evidence of this through the behavior integrating. And now let's talk about the Cap part, because this is also going to awaken the next series over the next 2 weeks of superpowers. Okay? Pluto is awakening. The moon in Cap, once a month as it comes through, sheds a layer of the onion, has you confront very deep emotional blockages that you may have picked up over the past week, or certain things that need to be confronted to be transformed, awakened, dealt with. This purging that's happening over the next couple of days, trining Uranus and Taurus, is bringing into effect all the practical manifestation of value and money and your own senses that will go into how you direct this awakening power. This is one of the last few times, 2022, that we're going to have this cycle before Moon goes into Aquarius with Pluto and awakens the higher knowledge of all this collective power we've been awakening. This transit is fundamentally going to awaken the depth of physical power that you'll take this solar energy of your heart, which now takes into account the first 5 signs, and put it all together. Like I said before I royally interrupted myself, Gemini style. First house is identity, second house is value, third house is attitude, fourth house is home, foundation, comfort, and fifth house is the creativity you express from this sense of knowing how you feel within yourself. So after you have stretched out that expression of talent, the sixth house puts it all together in a lifestyle and behavior. And this is where the second house and the fifth house, self-esteem and confidence or courage equals confidence. And it helps you, once you really stand in your value, discern with Scorpio the psychology behind why certain people spread certain projections towards you. This is what's happening to you with projections is happening to everybody. No one's necessarily everyone just has different methods of dealing with it. It's nothing to really highlight as anything crazy. It's like bugs that you spray out your way. That's basically it. But you have to understand where it's coming from. It's coming from a very evil place from within them, whether they'll admit it or not, because everyone has a shadow they've either acknowledged or not. A lot of spiritual bypassing happens, and they're used as a vessel to project on you. But every single time you maintain your confidence, it's a victory, which means it's an L for them. And you feel that intensity, pressure, and bitterness on their part because they are losers. They've already lost. The best that they can do is just find other people to draw down. You're a winner. And so if they can undermine your victory, that's the only thing they can do. But you have to let them do that. So you're integrating literal superpowers based on the energy that's harnessed in Leo. You're bringing all the first quarter square and full moon together, and stop listening to people who act like they know what they're talking about, but they don't know what they're talking about, especially if it's just meant to elicit reactions from certain people. People fuck with what I say because everything that I say comes true, because I'm not out here fortune telling and predicting. I'm just doing space meteorology. If meteorologists can tell you about the weather, space meteorologists can tell you how the stars affect down here. It doesn't have to be anything mystical or psychic. It's people who are ignorant about it, that don't know what the fuck they're saying, that spread all this stupid bullshit about 13 signs, precession of the equinoxes, but they never read a chart to save their lives once. This is where you just got to exercise discernment and break away from the peer pressure tactics to put experts and influencers to just put y'all to sleep. Many of you are waking up, and this Moon Pluto awakening cap will integrate everything together since Aries season, which will not only have you master how you harness this energy practically in order to awaken into more greater ways of utilizing it, but it's going to prepare for Virgo season, where you now take that energy harnessing and change your real life with detailed analysis. Okay, hope you enjoy the full moon. Hope you enjoy this transit. Godspeed.